What's happening? What's good,
going
Coach?
on, man? What's going on?
Rocking and rolling, man. Here we are. Jeez, year. I can't believe it's already almost mid-February and just cranking away. I know. I'm curious to kind of get your take in temperature. I know, here we are 40 something days into the new year. And a lot of the excitement and the energy coming out of New Year's resolutions, hitting the ground running, but you're getting punched in the mouth, right? A lot right now. A lot of agents there's a lot of things happening, deals getting, pushed out, delayed, mindset perspective, where agents really need to stay focused, stay grounded. I mean, where are you seeing in the conversations that you're having and probably some of the coaching that you're having to give, what's kind of the mantra, the message for agents right now, really kind of buckling down into this first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tough 2 years. The consistent conversation that I'm having over and over and over again is, man, I'm just not getting enough with, my sphere of influence, my referral base, the things I was doing, before aren't working. I got to do something more. Right. And so, yeah, man, I mean, there's deals to be done. You just got to figure out where they are. What's moving, if I was selling right now, I would be doing the research on what's moving, what's selling, where are people moving from, the people that are listing, why are they listing, and start to really get a good understanding of who, who's moving and who has to move and why they have to move. And start, looking for the opportunity in that. And in a lot of markets, we found, the new construction funnel has been a home run, because if there's a builder that's sitting on inventory, obviously, inventory is not moving like it has been, and they're willing to, to do a buy down on the rates. You can market those low rates, and that gets people off the fence. The people that are sitting on the fence right now are sitting on the fence because they're on an interest rate of 3%, and they're not likely to move, and certainly, that can be a huge difference in it's a market, it's a market in most markets that exist that you can tap into that, if you haven't been doing, it certainly has been a lot of activity. I can tell you it's working for sure. Outside of that, we're hoping for spring things to pick up in spring, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. It doesn't feel like there's this big pool of buyers about to hit the market.
I think there's spot on. I think there's a ton of anxiety, a ton of uncertainty in the marketplace, right? And so when you trigger that type of feeling, that type of emotion, it triggers the fight, flight, or freeze type of mentality. I think there's a lot of frozen. I think there's a lot of frozen agents. I think there's a lot of agents that are running. I think there's a lot of agents, the very few that are really leaning into the opportunity. And that's where, I think where the mindset side of things is so critical, or having the leadership and the guidance, or being plugged in and, just not trying to figure this shit out on your own, I think is the biggest get right now, is that, tap into those of us that have ridden through challenging times. I have defaulted a lot back to 07, 08, 09 timeframe, and there's always an opportunity. And, you and I had a little different path. You went all in on short sales. I mean, you dominated the market, like in mind.
Well, I had a choice, bro. Remember how we go out, we go on 10 listing appointments, and eight of them we'd have to refer to the rental department. Like
we'd have to do that, but it was also another way for us. We're like, hey, we're in a cash flow situation. Hey, I can take your listing, but you got to cut me a check for $1,000 before I walk out of here. So but we were, but that was $10,000 in revenue a month. We're taking 10 short sale listings. Yeah. That's what my point. There's always a way.
There's always a move.
There's always a move. There's always a move. There's always a way. Mine was a little different, and just made me kind of trigger with what you said with new construction, because that was the path, right? It was Willard. Mm-hmm. It was, I lived and died. I woke up, went to bed with Willard, thinking about him. What do I need to do? What does he need? What does he want? And that, there's always a move, right? And I think that's just where agents need to get and understand, is that, you have an angle. Sometimes you're so locked in, you got to just kind of step back for a second and be like, okay, well, where is the opportunity? And I promise you, there's opportunities abound. I was looking at in kind of continuation of our conversation last week that we really didn't get into, and it was the tariffs, what's happening on, insurance, what's happening on, replacement costs. Where is the direction of things? Where is affordable housing? Like, what are they going to really be able to build in today's market? And I was talking with Travis Wright yesterday, and he's trying to lock down a couple buildings, basically giving them away in Sterling. And he's like, they're complete eyesores that, like, the city of Sterling's got to make a decision. You either tear them down, or can you help me rehabilitate these, right? Like, what does that look like?
Yep.
So what are your thoughts? I know we just real quick at the end, you're like, dude, it's opportunity zones is where the opportunity is, but where are you kind of seeing or projecting new construction, affordable housing? Where are things going, especially the insurance cost and all of the challenges that we have out in front of us on the home building side of things?
Yeah, man. I mean, you can't build something, you can't build it for 300 grand right now. So, they're really, something has to be, somebody has to get creative. You're either looking at opportunity zones, in every market. And it's interesting, dude, like, not every market is the same, right? So like in, Orlando, their inventory is up 27%, but in Chicago, it's down 11%, right? So like, there's not this huge demand, but, to find, if you can find anything under the 300,000 range, that's where the opportunity is. Those are likely to probably appreciate more than anything else, and be less affordable in the future. But, there's, you got to find those pockets in your market where there is opportunity. And, you'll see, you break down like we used to with all of the market data, and you look at, the under 300 is probably flying off the market, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm doing any type of marketing, I'm trying to pick up opportunities and listings in those areas. And that might be, here in Frisco, that's going to be it. You're going to be out there a ways to find something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. It's really, being that true student expert of the market and really where the opportunity is. I mean, I think the associations and proximity in your market is so key. I think, getting connected with who makes the decisions in your community, right? Like how is your city ran? Who ultimately makes the decisions? Is does the mayor have any influence, or more? Is it more so the city manager? Like Lawton City, the city manager, and then all of the small business owners and influence the council. They ran the city. That's how Lawton was ran. Frisco's completely different. The mayor had some shots. He could call some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the way they structure it. So knowing where that is, I would tell anybody and everybody too, where is the economic development committee? Who are they having conversations with? Who are they bringing in? And that was our whole reasoning, of joining the chamber, was being plugged into the economic development committee, because that's where their office was. So we wanted proximity. We wanted to know what the hell's going on. Plus it gave us proximity to all of the small business owners and influencers in the market. And I think it's getting so plugged in at such a high level for, really stepping into relationships is super key right now. I mean, it's just go back to what we just said from the beginning, from a stress standpoint, people just being paralyzed, being able to come in and be a leader, be a voice of reason. And it's the leadership side of things that I think is what's going to really start to separate a lot of people now and into the future. If you got, obviously leading yourself at a high level, but every real estate interaction that you get into, I think you just have to own the fact that I have to lead this entire transaction. I've got to lead my clients. I got to lead the other agent. I got to lead their clients. I got to lead the mortgage company. I got to lead title. You just got to do it all. I think it's just part of the game right now.
Yeah. The thing that gets me like really antsy, like right now, if I was, I'm not in, there's not a market that I'm out there and selling every day. Right. So I'm talking to people across all different markets. So, you get little bits of information and look for, try to help people see where the opportunity is. Like to me, like I would be consuming every market data report, I would just be, and then I would be teaching it. I would be teaching the marketplace. Here's what's going on. What is that report?
So you got real market reports.
Yeah. Real market reports. And then what's the one that had the 4 quadrants?
That's the Altos reports.
Altos.
Yeah.
So I would be looking at Altos, and I would be pulling up that data for every market, and I would become the daily market update, and I would just consistently be teaching people what's going on in the marketplace and all these price points. Because right now I don't know. I feel like I don't know. So I'm like, man, I don't really know what I would tell somebody, but I would damn sure know the market. I would be the expert. I would know it forward and backwards. I would teach it every day. I would be at the forefront, because I think everybody's kind of frozen because nobody really knows what's going on. And I think that data is there for you to mine and really start teaching and become that voice in the marketplace of, hey, here's what's happening.
I'm just thinking through. I know exactly what we would do. We would have the cameras on, and we would be looking through and going through, looking at the market report that comes out that we got once a week. We'd be looking at whenever Altos came out, we would be doing. Whenever KCM came out, we would be just pulling it up, sharing our screen, going live, just talking through it and what it means. And this is my interpretation of it, right? Have an opinion on it, but we would have our opinion based upon what the data is telling us and the conversations, boots on ground, feedback we're getting in the marketplace, and just positioning yourself as that go-to authority in the market and go where the eyeballs are. And that's all over social. Cause I'm telling you, man, I feel it just because I've just made a conscious effort to throttle off of social myself here in the last 60, 90 days. I feel it. Agents that are like consistent and have a value add consistently showing up on social are the agents that are thriving right now. And I tie it back. I tie it back to everybody. I was having this conversation with Derb last week. And they know their Achilles heel is social. They know their business model is built around outbound touch prospecting. They're not being as intentional with the database, but they're not on social. Like Derb, to your point, Derb is an educator. He should be online every damn day, educating on the market. What does it mean? Hermosi style of here. Let me educate you. Here it is. What do you want to do with it? So I think social is the way to go. But to your point, be the go-to authority, be the expert. What up, Hugh? Yeah, KCM. I mean, it's probably one of the best investments that you guys can make. KCM report, $29 a month is what it is. I think.
Yeah. I'm looking at. I still pay for it. Like I still pay.
I do too.
I February's. It's like, these slides are just money, right? So like why you should consider buying right now. So there's all the slides for buyers, all the slides for sellers, what your conversation should be with buyers right now. Why is now a good time to buy? There's less competition. Fear and uncertainty in the market equals opportunity. Your ability to get a deal when there's a lot of competition, that's not the case. Sellers that need to sell, you have more negotiating power right now. So these are the talk tracks that you want to be having. And I think you want to be doing it on social, obviously, and then individually with everybody that you're talking to.
Yeah. The cool thing now that we would incorporate that we didn't do back then. And, for a lot of you guys, so we were the go-to, right? We created that, and we strategically positioned ourselves. One, we were just more consistent than anybody, but we built out the list of influencers in our marketplace, and we gave them value every week. And I know now we would be incorporating video. We would be just providing more resource and more assets like KCM. We'd be giving them the KCM report. Hey, here's the most instrumental slides that applied a lot into our market. This is what it is. So there's just ways to do that, to position it. Because what you're going to start to attract is a lot of the influencers and decision makers. And when you have the top of the mind of the market, and especially from an influential standpoint, it just makes everything easier. And that's what I relate to social right now, is that it makes everything in their business easier. It's hard, but it just makes everything easier. Like what radio did for us, like what billboards did for us, like what TV did for us. It just made everything easier. It was hard to quantify, but it just made everything so much easier in all of the things that we did. So being able to have that is really, really important.
The average homeowner with a mortgage now has 319,000 of equity in their home, 207,000 of which is tappable. 51% of buyers are also sellers. That's been the number one thing that we've done in the last year that's still working is, again, when you're targeting new construction, which is, again, that's our go-to right now. The mass majority of these people are not first-time home buyers. They have a home to sell. And so that's why I love that strategy. But, according to KCM, 51% of buyers right now are also sellers. So finding those active buyers that have a home to sell, especially going into the spring where there's likely to be some more inventory, is a good way to start stacking the deck in your favor going into the spring and summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it's those that are proactive, not busy, but proactive, are the ones that are going to be rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
And it's consistency, it's discipline on the activities that produce the results, but really position yourself. I'm going to default back. I think one of the best, Alex nailed it. His YouTube channel, and it's all new construction. Like if you have guys that have new construction in your market, Alex Pioch's channel is the one to just duplicate it. Yep. Just model it, and I forget what I was listening to I think over the weekend. And it was like, listen, the people that you're going to model after, they modeled after somebody else. Like, don't think that you got to be unique and like, you're going to take from them. And I know we used to, copycat 1 to copycat 2, but Jay Abraham instilling into us, we're just world-class modelers. And I think that's just where you got to look at, where to go, what's working. New construction, if you've got it, to me, is the go-to. And then, just incorporating a ton of video and social around everything that you're doing to showcase the new construction. Cool. So I guess my question is really around, what are agents starving for? I think the opportunity in the market to buyers and sellers obviously is the motivated, the have-tos, and not spending time. I think you got to take a Frank Kern playbook next and move fast. And just because you catch one and got one on the line doesn't mean you got to reel it in. And so you got to be able to have, a quick process to be able to filter through who's real and the have-tos versus the want-tos. But looking at it from an agent perspective, I mean, we're seeing a lot of momentum, a lot of moving. I mean, it's obviously kind of that time of the year, right, where you see a lot of move. What are agents starving for? I mean, what is the real agent market out there?
I think the real, just based on the conversations I'm having, the agents that have survived without having to do marketing, they probably average 15 to 30 transactions. I would say it gets difficult to and sometimes you can if you're doing a really good job and you're really out there hustling, you can do more than that. But generally speaking, it's probably that 15 to 30 transaction range, and it's just not enough. And right now it's slower. They feel the ebbs and flows of the marketplace. So they've gone through 2 years of less deals than they've done in the past, what they're used to, and they want to fix it. And they know how to fix it. They know it's through marketing. They know it's not realtor.com and Zillow and all this crap that they've bought. They know they've got to do something different. And it's, they're hungry to be like, okay, I've got to do something to generate more opportunities. I've got to get in front of more people that want to buy and sell, which means, your repeat and referrals not enough. And so that's where, and I think for most of those people, myself included, right? Like, so that's been, the real reason that we, implemented this, leverage my 50,000 a month marketing and implementation team is because I don't even know how to do the stuff that we do, right? Like that's not my skill set. My skill set is get me face to face. So having someone help me implement these things, and so I can be in control of my marketing and control of my business, as opposed to it being, following the ups and downs of what's going on. I think that there's a tremendous number of really good professional agents that do a great job that now realize, man, I've got to do something to generate, to get, to get inbound people calling me. And so that's the people that I talk to every day. The ones that are, struggling and, haven't ever sold a house, it's tough for them right now. It's real tough. Yeah. But if you just haven't been doing marketing, and I had a call with a couple guys in Canada the other day, and they, in the past they'd done a tremendous amount of marketing, but then they just lived off their career real estate agents, but they're not as being as seen. They're not out there doing social media. They're not doing some of the things where people go, oh yeah, that's, so-and-so, I forgot he was even still in business. So you gotta get out there, get your name out there, get your face out there. And social media is an easy way to do that. And so, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, I think. When we start running these ads, one of the things that happens is people start seeing you everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. People that know you, but maybe hadn't thought, oh man, you're not top of mind anymore. It's been years, right? So like the average, I was just looking at this KCM, it was the average person from, what was it? I can't remember what year it was, from 90. Okay. So from 2009 to 2024, the average tenure in a home is 9.3 years. And from 85 to 2008, the average tenure was 6 years. So we used to say 7 years was the average. Well, not anymore. It's getting closer to 10. So like, there's people that if you've been in the business a long time, that are, that you haven't been in touch with, you haven't been staying in front of. I think you need to, when we now, do an analysis of kind of somebody's business and they tell us they've been in the business 20 years or 30 years, but they haven't really stayed in connection. They don't have a database of their past clients that they communicate to regularly. Like if you've been in the business longer than 10 years, you better, that's a worthy thing. Even though it's not predictable, you're probably, as a percentage of referrals you could be getting, you're not getting your fair share. And so like, that's usually not where we start with an agent, but and if you've neglected that, having a good, reactivation campaign for your past clients and your sphere of influence is something that it's foundationally something you should have. So you should have already done it, but you didn't. And so like, if we want to get a deal closed tomorrow, that's not where I start. But so Hugh Herbert saying guilty, right? Like, and the thing is, it's not like we're not getting referrals, right? You get them, right? So like when we went to Jay Abraham and, and we were there the first 15 minutes and got gold from Jay Abraham on, building referral systems. And, we were getting probably 28%, I think, if I remember right, John, of our business was coming from repeat referral sphere. And then, but we, then Jay asked us, well, how many systems do you have in place? How many of you have more than one system, more than two systems? We're like, okay, we don't have any.
Just right? Random. Yeah, right? It's random, like most people are. Right?
Like, we were doing such a good job that, we got them anyway. But we didn't get it. We didn't get as a percentage as many as we did that year. We focused on it. We did, events. We did, I don't know how many events we did that year, probably 3 or 4 events. Almost
3 or 4. Mm-hmm.
Right. And we shifted it to almost 50% in 1 year, lowered our budget in terms of marketing by being intentional about it. And so, it's worth, going through, getting the list, getting them into a database, starting to communicate to them, make sure you're following all these people on social. It's that's kind of it's a foundation of your business. If you've been in this long enough, people that know, like, and trust you should be referring you, and they should see you often. And whether that's through direct mail, social media, both, you should have something that's going to those people consistently for your whole career. And so, so I think for a lot of folks, that's probably, maybe where you're at. You're going to have to, you're going to have to be intentional about, your sphere of influence, your past clients, and communicating to them, and probably add one good, strong pillar of lead gen that's, really targeted to a specific niche in the marketplace. And so, yeah, man, that's what I would do. I would, I think about it all the time. I geeked out on it with this call the other day. We're just talking about marketing and, direct mail, and like, it's, nobody's doing it. And so I would be like, I'm going to do it because no one else is doing it. And I would just be pounding a small subset of the market that has the highest turnover rate in the whole area. I would look for that data and say, okay, well, what areas are turning over the most? And, that's usually evidence of what's likely to continue to turn over the most. And so, pick those areas that have the highest turnover rate and just be mailing them so often. Right. Mm-hmm. And, when I say so often, this is where people get it wrong in marketing. If it takes 21 to 28 exposures, then, I'm mailing these people every week for at least 12 weeks, maybe longer. And then I might go to every other week for another, 10 mailings, right? Like I want to get the touches, the frequency of seeing me has to be more. And, I always think about it like when I get, when I lived out in Aubrey, I used to get, somebody would sell a house somewhere out there somewhere. You would never know where, because I lived in the country. So it wasn't a neighborhood, but I would get this one mailer from an agent and then nothing ever again. Right.
That's
like
right.
that
One and
spray
done
approach, is, the odds that I'm walking down to the mailbox that day thinking, man, I sure wish God would deliver me a real estate agent, so I could sell this house. And then, look at that. Like that shit don't work. Right. Like, but people will do that. They're just trying things. Nobody's taught them marketing. So they're just, they're trying everything. But if you hit somebody, I guarantee you, I was talking to Mike about this this morning or yesterday. Whenever I went back to Frisco, and Mike was doing, he was doing the back of the Frisco Style magazine, and then he was direct mailing the whole city, like every freaking house. And he was so excited to show me, because his mailer was about to drop. He knew at 10 o'clock in the morning it was going to drop. I was in the Hummer with him. We were driving around. He's got his cell phone. He had the calls going to him, man. It was like you could just turn on a fire hose of people calling to list their houses. It was, and he'd been mailing them every, so consistently, same postcard for months. And it was just cranking. And that lady that called him, the first call, she goes, and he puts it on speaker, and she goes, "Is this Michael Reese? Michael Reese, I got wallpaper my bathroom with all these postcards you've been sending me. I need to sell my house." Man, I died laughing. I was like, that is why I love marketing, right? Like, she just was like, this dude been mailing me all these damn postcards. I'm calling him, that, but that's, you can become top of mind, by doing it. And there's no easier way to do it. It is hard because people don't know how to do direct mail. They don't even know what to put on the postcard. They don't know what size postcard to send or what colors do you like. But if you nail that, and it's the same look and feel and branded to you, it's the fastest way. It's not the fastest way, but it's the most, it's probably the easiest way through marketing. Like when we talked about radio, we did it with radio. And again, reach and frequency, right? So we're 15,000, there's 57,000 listeners of K-Law. And at 7:50, there's 15,000 people listening. But every morning at 7:50, it's probably the same 15,000, because that's your morning routine. You're either driving in the car or whatever. And so how can I hit that 15,000 people, enough times that they start thinking of me first? And the reason it worked so fast was because we ran one ad a day, 7:50 a.m., first rotation. I'm on the radio every day, just like, whatever. There's somebody called in one time and was like, I know I'm going to hear three things on K-Law in the morning: Toby Keith, Shania Twain, and Jay Kinder, right? Like that. I became part of
works.
15,000 people. I became top of mind. And so, you can do it through direct mail. You can do it through a combination of things like the omnipresence. I see the billboard every day. I see the signs in the neighborhood. Now I'm getting direct mail, that's if you want to go after it. It's, you got to have a budget for it. You can't spend your last nickel, but you got to do it with a higher frequency. And that's where most mistakes get made in marketing, to shifting that business to the listing side. The easiest way to do it is going, let's run some Facebook ads for new construction, find some people that have homes to sell. Now you'll get a listing and a buyer. You're not as targeted. You might get people moving from a whole different group of different cities into that neighborhood or into that city. But yeah, I mean, it's, once you understand that you can spend a few $100 and get a client, there's always a way.
What does it cost to acquire it? Yeah.
You can acquire a customer through marketing. You just have to study it or have a mentor that can help you.
100%. And that's where I think, if you're an agent and you're not doing 1.5 to 2 deals a month on average, you need to be on a great team that has a great culture, a great team that has great leadership, and a great team that has great marketing exposure. That's, obviously great training. Plugging in DXP, all the training, fast cap, all the programs and everything that's out there. But, proximity, the day-to-day, really the accountability, but it allows, like what you said, it allows you to leverage that team and their resources to focus on what you do, what you need to be doing. And that's conversations and getting face to face. That's the most valuable thing in this business that pays you the most dollar per hour return is face to face, articulating your value of why somebody, what is your process and system to help them achieve whatever they're trying to achieve. But it also gives you a little more time to focus on developing the marketing side of things. Right.
Yeah.
And the team's going to do it. They're providing some opportunities. I always say a great balance, a great team dynamic, a great team relationship is about 50-50, right? If I do 30 deals, the team brings 15, I bring 15. I'm developing, my marketing capabilities and my marketing skill set. And if I am wired to go do my own thing, then I'm going to graduate off of that and go do my own thing because I'm developing the marketing side of things. Some people, they love being a part of a team. And, I default back to red. I think I thought of, having a lot of conversations with how people are expanding and building. And they're like, well, who's the perfect agent to kind of expand with? I said, Adrienne Arrington is the best. She's the perfect. Here's her DNA. Here's her makeup. She is in the dictionary. When you look up redhead, her picture's there. She is a typical, by definition, redhead. She is the most stubborn, hard-headed person I've ever been around in my life. She's an off the chart D personality. So most people default and go, well,
that's not gonna work.
She should be, she's going to go do her own thing. Adrienne's been there for over 15 years and she's still part of the team. So what is that? So I default back to predictable success quiz, which is the best quiz to uncover the archetype. And then you can probably look at working genius and some other things, but in predictable success, you have the visionary, the operator, the synergist, and the processor. Her lowest was visionary. Off the chart D, hustle, straight hustle. I would say on the working genius, she's probably a GE. There's some T in there. So she's a galvanizer. She's enabler. So she's a team player. But her vision was so low. She just loved being a part of the team. She bought into our vision. That's why having getting on a team that has a big vision that you believe you can accomplish your dreams and goals by being a part of. And if you've got great leadership and a great team, you'll never leave. But if you do decide to leave and they're great leaders, they're going to support you to help you build your empire as well. To me, cause that's like, if you're an agent doing less than a deal a month on average, you have no business trying to figure this out on your own.
Yeah.
Like that's like you're setting yourself up for failure, and we're trying to set ourselves up for success, and we're trying to increase the probability to where success becomes inevitable. And guys, if you're listening to this and you're on a team or you're not on a team and you're struggling, swallow your pride, check your ego at the door, get on a great team, get on a great leadership, great culture. I mean, get on a call with one of us and we'll give you the checklist of things to look for in a great, in a great future and a great team. But if you want to thrive and build a solid foundation, like you got to know you can't do it on your own. It takes a great team to be a part of. And now maybe you're at a point and you're building a team. Like, great, keep going, right? But you need great people, you need great systems. More importantly, you need great marketing to be able to navigate the waters ahead.
It is absolutely so true. And the committing to becoming a better marketer, like it's so easy to be like, okay, well, somebody calls me every day trying to sell me leads, so I'm just going to do that. That's not becoming a marketer. That's that's arbitrage. They're doing the marketing and they're selling it to you at a premium but once you get control of that and you're like, man, I can turn this up. I can turn this down. I have control of my business, man. It's the best feeling in the world. Like, it's worth it. Right. Like, if there's anything, and right now more important than ever, like you gotta have somebody helping you with these things.
You do. It's so key.
Don't go test. The sad thing is, and this has always been something that's frustrated me, but like I had a call with a lady, I mean, bless her heart, she wasn't selling that much real estate, but she paid $24,000 to one of these courses that one of these, it might even be an EXP agent. I'm not even sure. I'm not going to say the name because I think it is actually, she might be with us. She might not. Yeah, I can't remember, but like, God dang, man, like you're just, they lose touch. You know who it is. Actually, me and you talked about this before, but what worked for her doesn't cookie cutter paste and work for somebody else.
That's right.
And it sounds really good, right? And you pay all this money and then you do it and it doesn't work. And I had somebody else that hired Greg Luther and did everything he said to do, and it didn't work. And a lot of it is sometimes you think you did everything exactly the way you were supposed to, and most of the time, and I learned this early on. It's one of my favorite stories of whenever I thought I was calling the leads and using the script that I was being given. And, and I would have fought, I would have argued, I would have died on the mountain of ignorance. And I would have said, I followed the script. And until I even after I played the call and said, see, I followed the script. He's like, no, you didn't, right here. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know that mattered. You didn't tell me that part mattered.
The words, the cadence, the tonality. I mean, it all matters.
Yeah, so, and then to go have the experience of being humbled, of being wrong, and then going and then setting a shit ton of appointments after that using the script. I was like, dang, man, I was just stupid. Like, I thought I did everything right. I was going to write off. These leads are no good. That wasn't the case. It was me that was no good. I wasn't good at modeling. That's when I became a better student. And really learn, hey man, if somebody's teaching you something, you gotta be really good at copying what they're saying and what they're doing, even if you don't understand the principle. That's why I always teach the principle when I'm talking about marketing, because I want you to understand why it works or doesn't work. And so there's a bunch of people that watch this today probably be like, yeah, I did a direct mail, it didn't work. Yeah, well, you didn't have the right frequency. You didn't have the right message on the postcard.
Right call to action, right color scheme. Was it? Yeah.
All all of those things can be. I mean, there was a time where we got cued on the billboards one time. Remember, John? And we had
guaranteed results.
Yeah,
shit
like that. Yeah. And we went from when we changed the messaging, the just the headline on the billboard. We went from getting 1 call a month to 8 listings a month. Right. Mm-hmm. So
we changed it right back.
That's an 8x difference by changing the headline. Right. Yeah. And so you can get dramatically different results. And until you spend enough money and do it wrong, like we did, like, hey, don't get cute, you better, that looked good on the screen before we put it up on the billboard. Right. Yeah. But that's just understanding marketing, and, lessons bought are lessons taught, but, preferably not the best way to do it is by spending a shit ton of money. And,
where would you tell people, the students out there that love consuming and diving in? And I think it's a commitment and understanding it's lifelong, right? It's not you ever arrive. You continue to evolve and become better, but being able to have a framework and a foundation, I think, no matter what on your desk in your library, there's a resource manual. It's got to be both of Hermosi's books.
Oh yeah,
$100 million offers, $100 million leads. Yep. To me, those, like, you're not.
I don't remember what I don't remember in there. They might be in there. This might be in there. But what was the biggest hinge for me is it's direct response marketing, period. And it's Dan Kennedy's books on direct response.
All of his no BS stuff.
No BS direct response marketing, no BS trust-based marketing. Those are the 2 pillars I built everything we've done on. But I originally learned not the irresistible offer, but which is the irresistible offer is what I'm running now with recruiting, right? Leverage my $50,000 a month marketing and implementation team to double your business in the next 12 months. That's an irresistible offer. That is it's a hard to say no to, like,
right.
And it's free. So if anybody interested, hit me up. But that's an irresistible offer. But like, what is, that call to action that, that makes the phone ring? And, we did it for years, the cash offer, the guaranteed sale, those, you put that on a billboard, people drive by it and something happens in their life that changes and they have to sell their home now, or they waited to do it too late. Mm-hmm. They pick up the phone and they call you. Actually, they don't call the number on the billboard. What do? They Google your name.
They Google you. They search you.
They Google what they remember. And if your name ain't big enough on that sign, then they ain't ever going to call you.
That's why your name, it has to be your name and everything you're trying to do. Because that's easy. They can remember, they can see your face. They can remember the name. They're going to find you on social. They're going to find you on Google. I mean, shit, they're getting to the point. They'll just start talking to ChatGPT. Hey,
right.
who has the billboard? It all pops up. Everything comes up. So I think
it was the best thing for a highly motivated seller. Like, the people that called on the guaranteed sale were not thinking about selling. They needed to sell it. Like, right. that was
it goes back to your point, right? People are staying in their homes longer. They have more equity, on average. I know every market's going to be a little bit different. But at the end of the day, the people that have to sell will sell, doesn't matter what's going on in the marketplace. If they have to get it gone, that's who in guys, you niche down, you look for the motivated, the people that have to. Don't waste your time on the want tos in this market climate, in this market condition. I think that's with anything. You are only looking for the have tos, but what gets their attention is what we call, what's the dog whistle for the motivated in today's market.
Yep. Cash offer, guaranteed sale. Those are, there isn't anything better, right? So there's just not. You could try anything you want. We've tried everything. That is the dog whistle for a motivated seller. And the thing was, it was you couldn't. That's not a geographical target, right? So like if you want to go look at the turnover rates of number of homes that sell in a given neighborhood and find the one that is above 10%, has a lot of turnover, then you focus on that geographically. But this is just a dog whistle for that person. They could have, there's so many scenarios: lost their job, got a divorce, inherited, someone in their family died. They're moving to get close to family. Their kid moving to get close to their grandkids. They have a reason, right? Like when I would go on listing appointments and I would try to understand, I always try to get real clear on what they're trying to do and why. And then what happens if you can't do it? What happens if the house doesn't sell? It was one of my favorite questions, because a lot of people would go, well, honey, what would we do if it didn't sell? I didn't think about this. Well, we're not renting it. Remember Tom's house that got destroyed by the river? We're never going to do that. And so, okay, so it's super important that we have it sold. Well, yeah, we're going to be living somewhere else, and we have to have it sold by then. Okay, now I know where the pain would be is here, so I got to help you avoid this pain. And so you're looking for people that they have to make a move. I hated going on appointments. Well, if I could get this price, then we would sell. Nah, that's not a motivator. I can't do anything to make you motivated. So and you can try. Like I used to dig and dig and dig and be like, well, okay. So you don't have to sell. Well, what, if you did sell, what would you do with the money? Well, I probably would invest it. I say, okay, well, the time, the cost of, the time value of money invested versus you staying in this house, is it likely to appreciate more than what you were going to invest in? No. Okay. Now we have a little motivation maybe. Right. So you got to find that motivation. And again, be very inquisitive of what's going on in the marketplace. What are the sellers that are selling? What's their makeup? What's their situation? Start to get clear on that. And then now you can start to identify what's my message to that market,
to the pain. Yeah. And I think that's the distinction too, right? Either a vitamin company or a painkiller. And the guy that you were talking to might invest, he's the guy that he's looking for some vitamins, right?
Right.
I don't want to be in the vitamin business.
Nope.
I want to be in the painkiller business. Yep. Because think about it. In the vitamin business, things are good. You got money. You're going to buy your vitamins. The vitamins are tough. They got to be out in front of you. You got to see them all the time. We know how important they are, but I promise you, you ain't got no money. You ain't buying no vitamins.
Yep.
However, if you want a world of pain, you will give up a limb to make the rest of the pain go away.
Right.
You're better off being a painkiller than a vitamin company. And so find the pain. And that's what we're talking about right here. And I just love sharing this because this kind of helps the foundation, the principles of marketing to be able to understand our message has to help them with their desire to remove the pain. That's where we got to start, right? That's the most important thing. Number one that you have to uncover is, where is the opportunity? What is the pain in the marketplace? Go get that. That's where you need to give your time and energy at that point.
And this is why I love Facebook, because you if you put the right message out there, then that the person that you're speaking to, you're not speaking to everyone. You're just trying to find that one person that goes, damn, that's my situation right there. All right, what is this? I have to learn more, right? Yep. And so that's and then as what we do, and this is all part of what our team does to help build this first pillar. If somebody clicks on Frisco new construction, now I can go create content that's absolutely relevant, because they didn't click on Prosper. They didn't click on Little Elm. They clicked on Frisco. So, and they clicked on Frisco new construction specifically. So, okay, what are the 5 big mistakes that people make when buying new construction in Frisco? Content piece. Like now you can create content that's in alignment to something they clicked on, and you can serve up content that's relevant and specific to what it is they're trying to do and become valuable to them by doing so. And that's how you that's how you build trust through marketing. That's a hard thing to try to figure out if you don't understand building because everybody would tell you, like, I'm a great real estate agent, my clients love me. Great. Well, the only reason they know that you're great is because they actually did business with you. You can't translate that into a marketing message. I'm the greatest, everybody loves me. That's not a message to the market. Everybody says they're great, but until they experience it, they don't know. So how do you build trust through marketing? Well, you have to add value. So what is it that they need? What's the conversation going on at the dinner table? What are their biggest fears, concerns, desires, hopes? And create content that's in alignment with that. And then now you're building trust. Okay, this person is giving me something of value. Now I'm listening to you. Now I see you as an expert. Now I might hire you. And so that's, it's fun. I love it, man. I geek out over it. But, that's, you can do this in any marketplace. There's still going to be 4 million plus homes sell this year, guys. Like, let's just go sell a couple hundred of them,
that's
right?
It.
Like,
that's it. And I think that the word, like you said, you're geeking out on it, but the word is obsessed. And I think that's until you become obsessed with that skill, you're going to be at a disadvantage, or you got to be on a team that is obsessed with becoming the best marketer.
I guarantee you, if you join a team, the team leader knows this stuff. They're doing this stuff. Mm-hmm. That's how they're surviving. They figured out. And that's how we always say, it's not the best real estate agent that gets the deal. It's the best marketer.
Always.
It's because the best marketer knows that, you can become a voice to a specific subset of the market and become the go-to person for that subset of the market. And it's not this, home, find out your home's value, right? Like, I could run an ad right now for anybody, find home value and generate you a bunch of leads of people that aren't going to sell. Or we could change it up and we could say, thinking of selling in 2025, is 2025 the worst year to sell your home? Find out, click here. I just want you to click, because if you're thinking of selling in 2025, you click on that. If you're not, you don't. And so I want people that are thinking of selling. So I'm going to create content that's in alignment with that. And so, that's the fun part of marketing, is just knowing that you couldn't do this before, right? Like you could not run an ad to a content piece that's, again, I would take the content we're talking about with KCM and I would have a headline is, a higher percentage of homes failing to sell in 2025 than ever in history, or something catchy like that.
Yeah.
Right. And then I would just teach them what's going on in the marketplace, and then I would boost that post to everyone in the whole area that I live in or I want to service. And then anybody who watches that, I would have a download, something where I'm capturing their information, but I could retarget them with anything I want after that. And so now I know the people that are thinking of selling, and now they know me because now I was educating them, right? And so those are the types of fun marketing things you can do to build an audience of rabid sellers that are going to sell this year, that are just looking for the right advice, and you can be the go-to person for them. Now they see you, you're serving up another content video. Everything you ever do now is in front of them. And so whenever the time comes,
more impressions,
who are they going to call? They're going to call the person that's been educating them, that they feel like they trust now. Right. So it's all about building trust, but yeah.
I love it, man.
Real estate, man.
It crosses my mind maybe a couple times
I'd rather just help other people.
Yeah. Cuz I appreciate you. And, thank you guys tuning in. Really the whole One Big Fire conversation is just a place to where we can bring all the fires together, which makes us burn even brighter. And that's really what our goal and our intent is. And just like rabbit hole we went down today is, the number one skill to become obsessed about now and into the future is marketing. There's a handful of other skills as leaders that we have to continuously focus on and develop, but marketing has got to be one of the ones with leadership leading the way into the future. And, if you're, like I said, if you're one and a half, less than 2 deals a month, get on a great team hit us up. We'll give you the framework of who to look for until you can build out that marketing pillar for yourself. And if you have aspirations or you want to be an Adrienne and be a lifer on a team, there's nothing wrong with that. There's great teams that you can build, your freedom by being a part of, or, at least get the framework to model after to go do your own thing when the time is right. Cuz appreciate you as always, guys. If you need anything, honeybadgernation.com, or hit us up, and we'll be here to serve in any way that we can. See you.
Bye.